So this thought typically stays in the group chat, but I feel comfortable sharing it. I think that some, not all, Black people go to HBCUs to get their Black card. How did I come to this conclusion? Well, it was because of the swag surf. I went to college when the swag surf came out and became popular. And then years later, after graduating, I kept seeing on social media about the swag surf being HBCU culture. And I was like, how, pray tell, is the swag surf HBCU culture? So for the next 3 years, internally, to myself, I just was like highly upset that people kept calling the swag surf HBCU culture. Because I'm just like, all Black people do the swag surf. Like, what are we talking about? Then I had a light bulb moment. Swing. And I was just like, oh, wait. If people don't have a connection to Black American culture before they go to their HBCU, then they think everything done at a HBCU is HBCU culture. And they don't know how to differentiate between Black American culture and HBCU culture. Aha! When it made sense, it made sense. And then I proceeded for the next year or two after that. I kind of had, my little conversations with people who went to HBCUs like, what do you think about this hypothesis? And all of them agreed. After making that realization, years following that, I just was like, if you look at any Black space that is kind of centered around Black American culture, there's sometimes like the two extremes. The Black people who kind of grew up like me, where I didn't even realize my dad was teaching me my culture while I was in middle school, high school, and I would be in my 20s like, why was I reading Native Son in middle school? And then I was like, oh, he did that on purpose. And then there's the people who grew up around white people and need to get a connection to their culture, so they join this group that is, civil rights group, social justice group, something around Black American culture, so that they can feel connected. Sometimes the people who grew up around Black people the most are not in these spaces. So like me, I'm just like, my dad called me Angela Davis, so I'm trying to be around Black people at all times. But your average Black person who just like, they was always around Black people, sometimes they are not in these spaces because they already, not that they already have all their culture, but they don't feel this need to grasp at it. So there's the two extremes of the people who just is down for Black people at all times, 24/7, and then the people who are trying to get a connection to their culture. And so when you hear a lot of people who went to HBCUs or people who went to PWIs, and they're like, when I took my first African American Studies class, that's the first time I found out about my culture, and it just was like, I ain't had to go to a HBCU to find out about my culture. My daddy was teaching me my culture the whole time. And that's not why I didn't go to a HBCU. I actually didn't go to a HBCU because I only had 3 schools on my list to go to because I wanted to study animation and play basketball. And our schools don't have sports. And none of the HBCUs back then had animation. Now there's, multiple HBCUs, Morgan State University, Howard University, Virginia State University, and Bowie State University. They have animation programs. But back when I went to college, ain't had no animation program. But yeah, if you notice, there's people who will be like, oh yeah, that's HBCU culture. And I'm like, honey, that's just being Black. There is HBCU culture though, but some of it is just Black culture.